I just feel like I've still got unfinished business and I've still got things to make people around me proud of.
A very warm welcome to episode number 8 of the No Rucks Given podcast. We're the podcast that highlights and brings to your screens the backstories of professional rugby players directly from their mouths. My name is Paul Brown Bampo. I'm 23 years old. I play for Exeter Chiefs on the wing, and I'm joined by
Ross Vincent, 23 years old as well, play in the back row for Exeter Chiefs. And today we have a very special guest for you all. We have the absolute privilege of welcoming a player with the whitest teeth on the professional rugby scene. He's a Zimbabwean-born Italian rugby player and a very good friend of mine, Seb Negri.
Welcome.
Sevi, first of all, before we dive into your story, how are you doing, man? How's rehab going? What's the updates in your life at the moment? Just talk us through what's going on.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. First of all, thanks for having me. And secondly, it's been a tough couple months and probably a tough season, to be honest, for me. Had ankle surgery about 8 weeks ago now. Starting to make good strides forward. Hopefully not long now until I'm back on the field. Hopefully another 3 or 4 weeks and then can be available for selection. But other than that, life's good. Probably the other side of it, the blessing point of view is I've probably given the rest of my body a bit of a break, which has been good. So been working hard in the gym and now started on the field. So just looking forward to getting back on the field. But like I said, other than that, life's pretty good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Before we continue with this episode, we'd like to take a second to shout out our sponsor.
VX3 is a professional sports brand trusted by rugby clubs across the UK.
As players, we know how important it is to have kit that holds up through training and match day, but most importantly, looks and feels good.
VX3 is built for exactly that. If you want high-quality rugby kit that performs when it matters, check them out at vx-3.com.
Make sure to use our promo code NRG10 for a 10% discount on all items and keep your eyes peeled for exclusive offers on new ranges and giveaways that we will announce during episodes.
So what I love about Seb's story, which we'll get into, is that he's had to overcome quite a lot of adversity. He's had a lot of challenges coming through his career, but he's always seems to come out of it with great energy, positivity, and a smile on his face. And he went through a long process, a long journey with Italy, having not won many games. And so I'm very curious as to how you sort of stayed motivated and got through it. I mean, he's put Italy in a good position at the moment. But Seb, we want to start with your family and early life. Tell us about your early life. Where were you born? How many siblings you've got? What type of household you were raised in?
Yeah, well, from that picture, it looked like I had stomach problems from an early age. But
Caught in the act.
No, but I had a really special upbringing. Obviously, born in Zimbabwe. Was one of 4 kids, 2 older brothers, 1 younger sister. Parents who I love and adore. Grew up on a farm in Zimbabwe for the first part of my life, and life pretty quickly changed when I was about 6 or 7 years old. When we were forcibly removed from our home and our farm, and in about 12 hours, everything in my life changed. I don't want to go too much into detail about it, but it's not good when you hear gunshots. They come onto your farm, and basically your dad comes into the room and says, "Pack a bag quietly," and then you sort of get into the back of the car and escape the farm, I guess. And you're looking out the back window, and that's the last time you see your home. So. Wasn't all perfect, but I think from an early age, I sort of understood the word sacrifice, and I look at my parents as massive role models for me, and the way they dealt with things that are thrown at them, and the way they kept moving forward positively, and sort of set the tone and set the example for us, is that no matter what happens in your life, that you can bounce back. And I sort of carry that through my life, but also, me, Ross, is, on the field, I like to carry that too. So, when I've gone through challenges and difficult parts of my career and in life and anyone's life in general, it's how you get back up and keep positive and keep fighting, and that's the mentality I've always had. So yeah, I'm pretty thankful and grateful to my family for that, and I wouldn't change it. Listen, shit happens to everyone. That's just a little part of my story. But if I can inspire people to get through difficult moments in their life and be someone that they can look up to, someone who's dealt with that adversity and challenges, and be a role model for them, then I'm really happy to do that. But yeah, listen, other than that, I've been extremely grateful and blessed with the upbringing I had. Yeah, Zimbabwe was an incredible place to grow up. I loved all my sport, growing up with my brothers, playing in the garden, being at school, boarding school from 5 years old. Just shows how much my parents actually
5 years
really liked
old.
me.
Wow, that's crazy.
When you get kicked out the house at 5 years old and say you're going to weekly boarding school, like that picture there that I'm looking at that you guys have up is me at 5, I think, and that's me going off to boarding school for the week, and then coming back, back home on a Friday afternoon. So
Was that in Zim? Was that in Zim or was that in?
Yeah, that was in Zim.
In Zim.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was in Zim.
Where do you fall into
then,
the rankings of your siblings? Are you oldest, youngest, middle?
No, I'm the third. So
Okay.
Tom is the oldest brother. He's a sports agent. Actually looks after myself and Ross sitting there. That's him there. That's Ross's agent.
Looks
So yeah, that's
responsible.
the oldest one, and then it's me. Then it's Josh, and then myself. Josh works and lives in Singapore, and then my younger sister works and lives in London. So we're all over the place. Mum and dad still in Zim, and spend a lot of time in South Africa. But yeah, we're all pretty spread out, but we're a very close family. I couldn't ask for better siblings and better parents.
I feel like this photo perfectly encapsulates the type of people that you and Tom are. You look like the mischievous, cheeky one, and Tom looks all.
Well, I was the naughty. I would say I was the naughty one in the family, the type where if you got a family gathering or someone's organizing a barbecue on a Sunday, the parents are already, there's whispers going out that Seb's going to be at that place and something's going to happen. So I was probably the naughty one growing up. But yeah, just extremely competitive. I think I get a lot of my drive also from having two older brothers that teased me and really challenged me in certain things, and I think that comes out in my competitive side. That's another thing I got to be thankful for, I guess. Because I was always chasing my brothers and wanting to, be at that level, and thought that I could do whatever that my brothers could do, I could do. Anyway, my mum organized a trip for them where they went fishing in Lake Kariba, which is beautiful in Zimbabwe. And, it's a 4-hour drive or 5-hour drive from where our farm was. And I wasn't invited because I was too young, because, the lake's full of crocodiles and hippos and safari and lions and whatever. So I had to stay on the farm with my dad, which was really pissed me off. And I thought, I'm old enough. Why can't I go? So I thought it was a good idea. As soon as I saw them leave, I sulked and cried for an hour. And then I thought, stuff this. I'm going to go and join them. So got into my dad's BMW car. And I'm 5 years old, eh? So that picture that you guys had up at the front at the start of this podcast, that toilet. Age. I get into maybe not on
him and Big Bro.
Oh, in the hat.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one there, I got into the car and I thought, I'm gonna go and join my brothers and my mum in Kariba. 5-hour drive, 5 years old. Get into my dad's brand new BMW. Just bought a brand new BMW. got into it. And the thing is, I had one of my best friends with me at the time, Ben, and he'll tell the story. I told him to buckle up. I said, "You're coming with me." So I told him to get in the passenger seat. He put a seatbelt on. I switched the car on. It was an automatic. And obviously, I'm like pushing because the car starts. You press the start thing and everything starts. And then I'm like pushing the accelerator down, but nothing's happening because obviously it's in park.
Yeah.
So I'm slamming the accelerator, and then I'm playing with all the, the gear sticks and whatever. And I've obviously clicked it into drive, and I've just gone like a bullet straight into the fence. And the whole fence collapsed on the car, dented the whole front of the car. And all the everybody ran out the house that was there. And then also on the farm, some of the workers on the farm came, and they were like, head and hands, called my dad. My dad came, and I was just like, you can imagine. I was up the treehouse and staying there for a couple of hours with the car just full of smoke and dented. So that's the type of person that I was.
That trip was cancelled, I imagine, to the Kariba.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't go.
That's crazy. Bless your little sister, though. 3 older, competitive, I'm assuming pretty physical brothers.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't spoken to my sister in a week or so, but I hope she's still single. That's the it must have been pretty tough for her, to be honest. I remember her coming home a couple of times, saying that she had a new boyfriend and whatever, and then we would obviously just tease her, and then the one guy did rock up to the house, and he like rang the doorbell saying, "Oh, he's here to see Daniela." And my other brother Josh was just like, "No, she's not here." And then she came through to the living room. Obviously, he's left. And then Daniela was like, "Guys, if the doorbell rings, this bloke coming to see me," and he'd already left. It said that he wasn't there.
Damn.
So yeah, it was tricky for her, I guess.
Well, obviously, you at boarding school, you'd come home on the weekend. You'd still playing sport at home, or you'd be playing for school, or you guys be playing in the backyard.
Yeah, everything, Ross. Like from school, you finish school on a Friday, you come back on the weekend, and it was the same in South Africa. I'd come back, and where there was like a ball involved, a rugby ball, a cricket ball, I had to be involved, and I had to be winning. Like I had to be the best. And I think that obviously, looking back at it, obviously, at a young age frustrates people, I guess. But I think if you speak to anyone who's close to me or my family, you and watched those games in the backyard, they could probably say that it was coming from a good place, but he was extremely competitive. But yeah, I mean that was from a young age, and I still carry that with me now.
And obviously, you and Ross aren't the most Italian-sounding Italians I've met. Tell us where your Italian connection comes from, and whether that, pervaded into your family culture, the Italian side, a little bit.
Yeah, massively. So my dad's full Italian, all his family. There's a picture of us there after a rugby game in South Africa. And yeah, I mean, his whole family Italian, from Milan, and also from here close to me in Treviso, a place called Belluno. I got cousins and family all around me here. So that's the Italian connection. And I guess that also makes it pretty special, is that when I put on an Italy jersey, I'm not only representing obviously myself, but I'm representing the wider family. And they were also there for us, in the challenging times, going through what we went through as a family. They were there for us and supported us a lot, whether that was financially or in any part that they could help. They were there for us. So, I guess every time I put on an Italy jersey, like I said, I'm not only representing myself, but I'm representing all of the people that were there for me and my family. And, that's something I'm really proud of, and something that I carry with me for sure. But yeah, I mean, from a young age, it was, I guess, a bit of a mixed culture, because, my dad had that Italian side, and my mum being British Zimbabwean, I could probably say. So yeah, it was a passionate household, but there were definitely some traditions that we started young, and yeah, it's pretty special that it's come sort of full circle that I'm representing Italy now and playing for the national team.
And Seba, what other sports did you play growing up in the backyard, at school, at Springvale, and then obviously at your primary school? Was it Clifton?
Yeah. So
Durban?
after we left Zimbabwe, after everything that happened, we went to. Let me tell you that the quads and the calves have not changed since that picture. That's me in my prime. Don't zoom up, please. So after we left Zimbabwe after everything that happened, and basically the country's economy collapsed and things weren't great in Zimbabwe, we moved on to South Africa. Went to Clifton, Nottingham Road, where, as soon as you step into South Africa, the passion for rugby starts. So I definitely would say that I had a more understanding of how special rugby was. Not that it wasn't in Zim, but I think in Zim it was a bit more broader to all sports. I've started to focus a lot more on my rugby, but at the same time, cricket was my first passion. So I loved my cricket, and that carried me through to Hilton. After Clifton, Nottingham Road, I went to Hilton College and was actually lucky enough to captain the cricket side, the first team cricket side, and then also vice captain the rugby. So I was juggling both, which can be quite tricky.
Were you more of a batsman or a bowler?
I was a bit of both. I don't know, Ross would be too young for this, but beat his school comfortably. But no, I did a bit of both. It was obviously really, really cool that I got to captain the team and play with some really top players. I had Tom Curran bowling from one end, who's played for England. I had Lungi Ngidi, who's opens the bowling for South Africa today, from the other side. So, I played with some pretty special talent. And then at the same time, obviously, you had the rugby at Hilton, which was huge. And in South Africa, as Ross knows, rugby at school is a massive thing. You have 20,000 people come watch a weekend rugby game against your arch rivals. It's something that's, really unique and special. And I guess from there, that was sort of the route that I took. And also at school, we had really good food. So I put on a bit of weight, and that helped me, I guess, with the rugby too. So that's when I decided, I'm gonna go down the rugby way.
So just rewinding quickly, how exactly did rugby come into the picture? Was it your dad with the rugby ball, or was it when you guys moved from Zim?
I would say, like, even from days in Zimbabwe, I loved rugby, but I think the passion for it and the inspiration came from being in South Africa more, just because it's such a big thing at school, especially at Hilton. And then once you get a taste for it, and then you start making, provincial teams and things, and you think, oh, I'm not too bad, I'm decent. And then you get one or two coaches and scouts come look at you and say, listen, you can make a real go at this. And I still wasn't fully convinced. I thought I was actually, at the beginning of my matric year, I was thinking, I'm just going to go on a gap year and explore Europe and just enjoy, and then go to uni. And then it wasn't until Roland Di Marini got in touch with my first team head coach, and that was when the first conversation started happening between the Italian side and my school. And then obviously I signed a contract with Western Province Rugby, and then went down to Cape Town, and those conversations with Western Province and Italy even grew further. And that's when I started to play a little bit of under 20 rugby with Italy. So, yeah.
And at school, you mentioned cricket, but where did golf come into the picture? We got a little clip here, Seb, because there's a couple of rumors going on that you've got a granddad swing, and I didn't quite believe it until I saw this.
What? Is that the actual swing?
You know what, Ross? The amount of money that it's not my swing. That's not my swing. I was showing it what it could be like if I have an impingement in my back. Because normally I'm carrying niggles and knocks, so you got to make adjustments.
Adapt the swing. Yeah.
Yeah, but listen, I love my golf too. Ross will know I've made a lot of money off him and the rest of the boys and free lunches.
Really?
And
you've lost to that swing.
I've lost to that swing, yeah,
Oh
too many times because of
Luigi
though.
Yeah, it's the mentality. These guys are weak. They're weak youngsters.
So Sebi, from primary school, you get invited to Hilton College, which is, for people who don't know, is a very prestigious school in KZN, isn't it? On a sports, is it a sports scholarship or a rugby scholarship or?
Yeah. No, sports scholarship. Yeah.
Sports scholarship. So what was boarding school like for you? Because a lot of people don't get to experience boarding school. Obviously, I got to experience it, and it was one of the highlights of my life, being on campus. And what was boarding school like in your experience?
Yeah, so Hilton, like you said, obviously, yeah, I was extremely lucky and blessed to go to such an amazing school. It's all like termly boarding, I guess, because you have in each term you have, I don't know, if you just say you have 4 weeks, you have one of those weekends where you can go home, or two of those weekends where you can go home. But the rest of the time you're on campus and at school. But I was, it was an extremely, yeah, like you said, prestigious school, on huge campus, lots to do. And the same for me, Ross, is that I think it was probably some of the best days of my life. You grow so close with people that, because you're living with those boys and you're living with your best mates, and you're constantly doing things and playing sports, and then going to explore the estate, and then there's the wildlife side of it, and there's all the open space, and so you just, everything that you're doing, even going to class, you're all with your best mates. So yeah, it was an extremely special time, and you become very close. I guess when I got married 2 years ago, I've still got 12 to 15 Hilton friends that came over for my wedding, which just shows the bond, I guess, and the thing that you create at school, which is quite unique, I think. Yeah, and I'm extremely grateful, and we were spoiled. I mean, Hilton was a very, very special school. Yeah, I mean, just like the estate, you have a Sunday off, you can go on to like a little safari. You just go and walk, and there's giraffe and
on the school campus.
Yeah, it was on school campus, so it's like
a zoo,
mad.
or were you like properly?
No,
in the sticks?
like proper, like wildlife, like in the wild.
Wow.
And there's the river where you can go like tubing down the river with your mates and have a barbecue on a Sunday. And yeah, it was incredible. Looking back at it, we were spoiled. And you look back with, yeah, I guess you're just extremely grateful. And, almost like when I grow up now, that's where I would love my kids or, other family members to go to that school, because, it's not just the people you meet, but it's the relationships that you make are extremely special.
So in this picture, are you the guy with the water bottle towering over everyone? Is that you?
Yeah, you can see a little bit of a gut on me there. That's
big time.
Because, yeah,
you look like a grown man with a mortgage.
Probably my nutrition's top notch, as Ross knows.
Wasn't back then,
but yeah,
was it?
I was going through a difficult patch there.
And you're right, the legs are still the same size as
Yeah, the legs are the same. Yeah, the legs are the same size. I'm trying to look at the picture, but yeah, the legs are the same size. Haven't changed.
That's cool.
So Sebi, you then go on to make the KZN team at youth level.
What is KZN, by the way? As someone that's not from South Africa, is it?
It's like region? The Shark. It's like It's probably like the Sharks.
Okay,
Sharks.
Okay, yeah.
That was at under 18 level.
Under 18.
Yeah, and did you play? Did you play Craven Week, or did you play Grand Como or Academy Week, or
Academy Week? Academy Week. So again, at like that stage, you obviously, I got selected for the Sharks under 18 Academy Week side, which was great, and I think that's when I sort of started to think, well, maybe I am good enough. Maybe not to be a full professional one day, but maybe to get a scholarship to a university and play rugby there, or something like that. So, I guess it was pretty cool to make that team, and I think it just added sort of maybe a bit more motivation going forward. Is that maybe it's something that I could do or pursue.
And then how do you go from playing KZN under 18 to Western Province under 19?
I think I had a decent enough academy week with the Sharks, and obviously someone noticed something. Our academy week was actually in Stellenbosch or close to Stellenbosch, and that's where all the Western Province people are. So, and that's when I got picked up to go and join Province under 19 and join the academy. So, and it was I had the chance of going to the Sharks Academy, but then, Province come knocking, and I wanted maybe a bit of a change, and to go to Cape Town was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Had both my brothers there in Cape Town at the time, or at least Josh was there. So, it just made sense. And it was also, I guess it was also, I'd heard such good things about this academy, and it was like, you either make it or you just give up, basically, because the preseason with Province Academy is known just for being like the army. It's so tough. So, and that's exactly what it was. You arrive there, January, hot, like 40 degrees in Stellenbosch. You're up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You're in bed by 6 p.m. It was just really, I think that's where, your mental toughness, I learned what it meant to have, to be resilient. Because you arrive there with such a talented group, but half the talent by the end of the season is not there anymore, because they've been run into the ground. They just feel that at the end of that, rugby's not for them. Yeah. So,
and is that people quitting, or is that people getting cut? Like,
yeah,
mixture of both?
I had, mixture of both. Like, if you're just not up to it, they'll just say, listen, I think this isn't the road for you. And then there's other guys that just full on, okay, I can't do this, I'm done. So yeah, it was tough, man. Really, really tough. But yeah, became more resilient. And looking back on it, was an awesome experience.
And you were living with guys who were going to varsity, is that right? At UCT or Stellies?
Yeah, you could have studied, but they did want, especially for that first year out of school, they did want you basically full time.
Yeah.
Because of our program, that was literally, especially preseason, like up at 5, first session at 6, and then you're so tired that you're having dinner at 5:30, and then you're in bed by 6:30 because you're so gassed. So yeah, but it was an awesome experience. Looking back, and it was really tough. But I guess I needed that also coming out of Hilton, where was a very privileged position to be in at school, and then you sort of know how tough it's going to be if you really want to do it. Yeah. So it was good.
Could I have a bit of an explanation of like the progression of rugby generally in South Africa out of school? Because there are all these phrases like Craven Week, Academy Week that you mentioned, varsity, which I think is your uni stuff, that I think a lot of our viewers wouldn't know about. So what are the options, and what are the big weeks? Like, what are they? How do they work in terms of progressing your career?
I think it starts at under 16, where there's Grand Como. So already from when you start having these big tournaments at 16 years old, and they're starting to select, teams of the tournament at 16 years old, and then when you get to 17 and 18, there's Craven Week, and then there's an SA Schools team, and you look at the history and how many Springboks have played for SA Schools. There's already, like, if you're looking at a young player and you can make those teams, then you're thinking, I've got a shot of being a professional rugby player and going on to be a Springbok. And the Springbok being a Springbok in South Africa is something huge. Like, obviously in the UK, like I've been in the UK and other places where you've got your England rugby, you've got your England football, you've got your England cricket, so there's lots of things. And in South Africa it's similar, but rugby is a religion. It is the Springbok is a brand in itself, but it's a religion. So if you go to school and say, what who do you look up to as a youngster, at my age, growing up, I was looking at Skulk Burger. I was looking at, you know, those type of players. And now it's like guys at school are looking up to, you know, Etzebeth, are looking up to Sasha, are looking up to, you know, Jesse Creel, all these people. So, you know, it's a religion that's massive. And then also through schoolboy, because schoolboy rugby is so big, you know, you get 15, 20, like I said, you get 15, 20,000 people, you know, watching you on a weekend. It's pretty special, and you want to be a part of that. And then your you know, that energy and that motivation and wanting to be at that level grows further and further. Plus you've got 15 or 20 young birds watching you on the side of the field. So that's also pretty cool.
You know what? I was actually going to ask about that, because when you're 17, 18, let's say if you're 16 and you're playing first team, you're really lucky to have 3 years.
Yeah.
And 15,000 people are watching you at that age. How does your head not completely inflate? Also, you've also got all the young lads at your school, all the year 7s upwards, looking up to you like you're a god. Like how does your head not inflate? How do you stay humble or not in that situation?
It is tough, like, because you are such a role model when you play first team rugby, as Ross will know. You've looked up to by everybody in the school. And then on those days where it's 15,000 people watching you, you know, you're supposed to be relaxing the whole day, and then at 3:00 you play, but you know, you're already after breakfast, you've got your white scarf on and you're going through the crowd and soaking it up like you're a legend. But you're just a school kid. Yeah. You're just a school kid. But yeah, I think, you know, those are the highs. And then I think when you get picked up by an academy like the Sharks or the Bulls, Province, and then you in with the big fish, then you can, you know, then you really see, you know, the talent pool in South Africa is just huge. And then it's sink or swim. And it's so difficult to get a contract too, because, you know, you're arriving at the academy and there's 50 others that are massive,
just
that
like
have
you.
played just like you. And that's one of the reasons, which we'll get on to next, is that's one of the reasons I left. And I've got no shame in saying that, is that I had a great under 19 year, and I thought it was so harsh that they were waiting to give me a contract. I thought, how are these guys getting contracts and I'm not getting a contract? I just thought it was bizarre. And then I went into the under 21, because the province were like, oh, we're keen to keep you, but, you know, we have to wait on a few things. But we both know, everyone knows that if someone really wants you, you know, they offer you a contract and it's done pretty early.
Yeah.
And they were just waiting and made it difficult. And at the end of the day, I just thought, you know what, if rugby's going to work or not work, I need to study too. And that's when Hartpury came into it from the UK, offered me a scholarship to come over to England. And I thought, what a pleasure to go and play a high level rugby and also get a degree behind me in case rugby doesn't work out. I thought, best decision. And that's when I left Province. And I went onto the UK.
What was that adjustment like? As, you know, a kid that's like fresh off the boat from South Africa, and, you know, you're used to heat, you're used to, I guess, good food and maybe slightly more interesting animals in the countryside. Did you have any culture shocks? Yeah,
the weather obviously is the first one, where you just like, you know, I think in my first year, so you go up to, you land in the UK. And it wasn't too bad, because I got there for pre-season in August, and it wasn't actually too bad, the weather. And I thought, you know, this is actually all right. The first big thing that shocked me was the drinking culture, in terms of the South Africans can drink, but then the English culture sort of, you know, cans on the bus after a game. And, you know, I thought that was quite hectic. I had to learn early about all the rules and the no EG and all of that, because I was just getting punished as a youngster coming from I mean, I was blind half the time. So yeah, that's something I had to pick up quickly. And also, I guess, coming from South Africa, you think that South Africa is the be all end all of rugby. You do. You know, you grow up in a bubble there of being, well, I'm South African. It's going to be easy wherever I go. And it just wasn't. It wasn't easy at all. And I think that's where also coming from South Africa to England, you realize rugby's big elsewhere too. And also that, and I got humbled pretty quickly because I was coming from a good school, then to a good academy, looked after, and then you go to Hartpury, which is obviously unbelievable. You get looked after there too, but then you're dealing with guys also because you're playing with the university side, but you're playing with the RFC side too, and those are old, experienced men, athletes that you're playing with and obviously against on a weekend, and they humble you very quickly.
Were they champ back in the day then as well? The RFC, Hartpury RFC,
National One,
National One.
You get humbled very quickly, and you think you're the guy from South Africa, you're going to play and this and that, but then you rock up to a Hartpury, and the Genjas have been there, and massive names have been there before you. So you just arrive there as another number. Obviously, you're there on scholarship, so you got to prove a point, and they're excited to have you. But yeah, you got to earn the respect of the guys that you're playing with and playing against, and that's what I tried to do. But yeah, it was a bit of a shock to be fair, but one that I needed.
Yeah, well, you definitely seem to have earned their respect because you were made to be the captain in the year that you guys went on all the way to the final at Twickenham in 2016, 2017.
Who did we beat?
And you beat Exeter University in the final, didn't you?
That makes me happy.
Indeed.
That makes me very happy.
Jeez,
yeah, listen, it was looking
the
back
teeth
at
as well, man. The teeth look so white in that. Is that when the teeth whitening started?
I'm not sure. No, it wasn't, man. Yeah, I mean, those are just special memories.
That Hartpury kit as well. Nike sponsor.
Hartpury machine. It's such a well-oiled machine and system at Hartpury with the studies. And Ross, don't laugh, but it is.
No, I'm sure it is. It looks like an Owen Farrell if you put on a couple of kegs on the far right, second from the right.
A little bit.
Yeah, so I had some unbelievable memories there. Obviously, after my first year, I got made captain of the university side. But, you're playing so much rugby, which is so key as a youngster. I feel like youngsters today don't play enough rugby. Even in Italy here, like they just don't play enough. I was playing on a Wednesday for the university side, and then every other week I'm doubling up. I'm playing on a Saturday too, whether that's starting or coming off the bench. So you're almost playing like over 100 minutes every week. So yeah, I think that was also shaped me to be who I am today as well. And yeah, like Ross touched on there, I met some special memories. Obviously that last year was incredible. We won the league, we won the cup at Twickenham, and then we got promoted too with the club side to go to the champ. So yeah, it was pretty spectacular. Yeah,
Hartpury has that reputation of producing so much talent like every year. Like you've got your Johnny Mays, you've got your Louis Rees-Zammits as well. Who else apart from you and your cohort kind of kicked on?
Well, my scrum off on that day was Harry Randall.
Where's
so he was the scrum off. He's small. He's probably in the background somewhere. He's tiny.
Drowned out.
Yeah, but then also like the Exeter side was Lorde, Skinner. So, but yeah, Hartpury, I mean, just before I arrived, the guys from the college was like Genge, Johnny Hill. Obviously, you mentioned like obviously when I was older, there was Rees-Zammit coming through. Varney was there. Even now, like guys that are in the league that are playing good rugby, like for Ospreys, Morgan Morris, the 8, really good player. He was my 8 on that day. I was at 6. Morgan Morris was at 8.
Okay.
So yeah, we had some really good players. Yeah, some of the guys that I played against were also top. So, and it's also good to see. I think Bucks Super Rugby in the league now is improving, and it's a good platform for young players because I really believe in the whole student athlete thing. I think that's pretty good because you see guys now coming out of school and they're all in for rugby, which is great. And each to their own, but don't have much to fall back on when things don't work out. So I really believe that, that pathway, like you guys are doing, student athletes, pretty good.
So then we're going to rewind a couple years, because you were called into the Italy under-20s whilst you were at Hartpury College. Is that right? And you made your under-20s debut.
I was actually in my I first got called into the Italy 20s when I was at Provence.
Okay.
Halfway through the season, I went to play in the Junior World Trophy.
In Chile?
And that was in Chile, and we won that back into the main leagues. But that was just a small taste of, the Italian rugby and what it could be. And I really enjoyed that experience. And then, you keep those relationships open, and obviously once you're in the system, they keep tracking you. And then when I went over to Hartpury, when I was also in Cape Town, I got to play in the under 26 nations, which was incredible, and had a really good tournament. And then you're in the system, and then they just keep tracking you. And then obviously I went to Hartpury, performed well at Hartpury, and that's when I got. The first year, I think it was my first year at Hartpury, I got called into the Italy A side. And that for me was like, wow, like Italy A, and this is incredible, great experience. And then in my second year, I was with Italy A. I got called into the Italy A side again, was in Romania just about to play Argentina A, or just played Argentina A, and was out with my dad in Bucharest in Romania. I'll never forget it. And it was so special that we had that moment together, actually. Was in Romania in a cafe in the square, and just having the day off with my dad. I just played Argentina A. The next day is the Sunday. You have the day off. Told the team manager and all my mates, listen, guys, I'm going to be with my dad for the day, because my dad had flown over from Zimbabwe to come watch. And then had the day with him. And while we were sitting having a coffee, my phone's just going nuts, like buzzing. People are trying to call me. The manager, I'm getting looked at my phone, 8 missed calls from the team manager. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Have I I don't know, done something? Or, at that point, my Italian's terrible. So I'm just like, ciao. And I'm just clueless to what's going on. So anyway, the team manager called me and he said, listen, Seb, get back to the hotel. We just want to say that you've been called up to the first team. So you're going to be flying tonight to San Francisco to join up with the first team. Yeah. And my heart sunk, and my dad's there with me. And I just remember my dad, just tears were flooding down his face. And I think that was a cool moment because of everything that had happened from Zimbabwe, from losing our home, from losing our farm, the whole journey of it. And then, having that moment where you get called up to your dad's, from your dad's heritage and countryside of Italy. You have that moment together was one of the days I'll never forget. Yeah. So that was pretty spine tingling. And then you're in it. And then Conor O'Shea calls you and says, Seb, we need you. We've had a couple of injuries in the back row. And that's at that age, you're just thinking, I'm at university. I'm still at Hartpury. I've just finished my second year. And then you're on the phone to Conor O'Shea. And I'm a coach that I've looked up to, seen on TV with Harlequins, with Italy. I'm still an Italy fan, so I'm watching them play every weekend. And then you're on the phone to him and he's like, Seb, you come over. We need cover in the back row. So then I'm thinking, unbelievable experience. I'm basically going on holiday to San Francisco to play against the USA, and then they're going on to Canada and Toronto to play against Canada, and I'm just going to be holding tackle bags and just playing with these guys that I look up to, watch on the weekend, look up to, you just like a kid at a sweet shop, you know what I mean? So then get on the plane and it's business class, and I'm thinking, this is just ridiculous, unbelievable. Fly to San Francisco, land, jet lagged to hell, was so bad. Get put in with my roommate Pecco, actually. So that was actually class because he's such a good boy. And then I arrive at the hotel, and all of them on their off day, all the Italian boys, and like Tommy Allen walks off the bus, Sato walks off the bus, and like Benvenuti walks off the bus, Barbieri, all these guys with like experience of playing countless games for Italy. I'm thinking, I'm way out of my depth here, like way out of my depth. And then get into the hotel, unbelievable hotel, like just outside San Francisco in the States. And Conor O'Shea comes to me, he's just like, welcome, Seb. How are you feeling? How's everything? Well done against Argentina A. And we're happy to have you here. And been monitoring you for the last couple of years, and you've done well. And by the way, learn the line out, because we got our first session tomorrow, and it looks like one of the back rows is struggling with his elbow. So there's a chance that you might play. And my like heart sinks, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm like happy or just nervous as hell. Like, didn't sleep, jet lagged, horrible, feeling terrible. Anyway, cut a long story short, had to learn the lineouts quickly, got to know my teammates, and then that weekend I made my debut against the States. So that was cool, and we won the game. Then we went on to Toronto, and I'm thinking, one cap. I'm just thinking, one cap wonder. This is like, I need to get a second cap. Then they played me again against Canada. We won that. And then I'm going back to uni. Like, I'm going on holiday and then going back to uni. So it was just like so surreal. Mm-hmm. And then obviously, because we won those 2 international games, you get a bonus. And then I'm just there at uni with all the VK apples, just playing. Just be like, lads, I've got the booth during Freshers Week. So those are memories that I look back on with, it's just very, very special. And then every time that I played for Hartpury, you go to Exeter and these universities, and they're all screaming 2 caps for Italy and giving you shit. So it was cool and surreal, and it was a special experience.
That rise is meteoric.
No, it was mad. It was mad, and it happened happened so quickly. And then, like, once you get a taste for international rugby, you think, well, this could go one of both, like 2 ways. You're either going to be a 2 cap wonder, and no one's ever going to see you again, and or you can really push on and I think I chose obviously to push on and really was motivated to have that taste again. And that's when that summer and early in that season, Benetton Rugby played against Gloucester, and the president and my team manager of Italy A organized a meeting, and I met Kieran Crowley and the president of Benetton, the head of sport, Antonio Pavanello, in the hotel before they played Gloucester, and sat down and basically signed a deal with the 2-year deal with Benetton early on that year.
This was after you'd made your Italy debut.
This was after the summer,
Okay. So he's at Hartpury, playing for Hartpury University.
Yeah.
Plays for Italy, and then signs a professional contract.
So back to front.
And then within 3-4 months, the teeth are glistening in that pick.
Pearly whites, that's what I was just thinking.
And then within three months, I've signed my first professional contract. And I was also thinking there was a few academies that were interested, and I remember going to look at London Irish, the facilities there were incredible, and I thought, London Irish would be cool for me, but that didn't really materialize. But then Benetton was just I think the deal was done within a week or 2. Everything was just so quick and easy, and then finished up the year with Hartpury, won the triple, did everything, got my degree, finished with my degree and passed everything, so that was cool. And then went on to Benetton,
where you've been for a number of years now, and you're about to become the 98th Centurion at the club. I think you're on you're on 99 caps, 98 caps.
98
caps. So hopefully we get you out of rehab soon and become a Centurion, which would be an incredible achievement. But what about Benetton, or maybe Treviso? What is it that's kept you there so long? You must have just absolutely loved being there.
Yeah, I guess I mean, the lifestyle here is incredible, and the people here are good people, and it's a small little town. Everyone knows everyone. I've loved my time here, and it is when I've had opportunities or discussions for me to go away from the club, or opportunities to explore France or the UK or other places. Something's just always kept me here, and I think that something is like success and leaving like a lasting legacy with the club of winning something pretty special. And I always said when I first arrived, I was just like, I don't really care what people think about me when I walk in the door, because no one knew me from coming from Hartpury. But I just hope that people know me for when I leave the club, and that I've left my jersey in a better place. That's always been my thing. So to play 100 games, incredibly humbling and special. And listen, I've still got another good time here and good time left on my contract to hopefully create some more memories and create something special. And I think that's what's kept me here. And then obviously my teammates, the club, special people. Met my wife here, so I think everything's just fallen into place, and it's exactly where it should be at the moment. Do I ever rule anything out of going somewhere else or exploring another opportunity? No, but for the moment, I'm fully set on achieving what I want to here, and I'm pretty happy with that.
So you go from an incredibly successful schoolboy journey to varsity, where you win the championship, the Bucks Super Rugby. You get your debut, and then you sign your professional contract, and you keep getting called into Italy camps, and you play a number of games. There's a stat that you went 27 Six Nations games without a win consecutively, and the 28th game was Scotland. 28th Six Nations game was Scotland 2 years ago.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah. How do you stay motivated during that? And like, how do you get through that sort of period to try and, going out almost knowing that you're going to lose? What was the vibe in camp like? What goes through your head?
I had some really dark times. There was always constant, when I walked through the door and played my first Six Nations a couple of years ago, there was always the case of Italy don't deserve to be here. Italy shouldn't be in the Six Nations. Where are Georgia? Where are all these teams? They should be given the opportunity. Like that's horrible to deal with on a weekly basis. But for me, it was just about leaving everything out there as an individual, making sure that I did everything that I could and sacrificed my body and all I had for the cause. And like the club, with the international stuff, I always wanted to leave my jersey in a better place from when I took it. So if I'm walking into a team and we ranked 14th in the world, and when I leave Italy, we rank 10th or 11th or 9th or 8th or whatever, then I've left my jersey in a better place. So that was always motivation for me, going forward. I wanted to leave a legacy, and people be like, shit, you know what? Seb gave everything for that jersey and everything for Italian rugby. And that's how I want to be remembered. And so that's always been a motivating factor. And then also when you start to get a little bit more experience and you see guys like yourself, like Menoncello, like Varney, like Lucchesi, like all these young players that are coming through, Capuozzo, young talent, Todoro now, all these young players that are coming through the mix, it motivates you even more to be a part of all those special things that you want to be a part of, because you've had so many downs. Now you want to be a part of all the ups too, because it would be unfair if I did all of that hard work and like did everything for the cause, and then like it comes to an end and I haven't been part of any of the success. What's been the most special part of it is that I'm starting to taste a bit of the success now. Like that Scotland game with you, Ross, like just incredibly special because, and you could see my emotion. And I even get emotional talking about it now, just because of everything that I had been through to finally win in Rome was just like, I just let everything out on the field. I just cried and cried because of everything that I put into that jersey to finally get something back was something I'll never, ever forget. And now that I've had the taste of that, you want to be involved in it more. So that's what, like, people say, you've played in 9 or 10 Six Nations or whatever, and 2 World Cups. And, don't you just want to focus on the club stuff? Once I've had that taste of that success with Italy, I want to continue and especially for the next couple of years, just do everything that I can to be involved in helping the team achieve all it can achieve. Whether that's a small part, a big part, I couldn't care. But that's what I want to do, and that's what keeps me motivating. And also, when you have young guys who you love and respect, and guys that you really enjoy playing with, like yourself, and I'm not only just saying this because you're on the podcast, but it even motivates you even more because you're playing with your best mates, but you're playing with guys that you also want. You have to set the tone for, and also be a role model for, and just enjoy together. And it just makes it gives you a new energy, which I found especially in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I was going to ask a question, more of like a practical question. So you're someone that, describes yourself as a guy, and I've seen a guy that puts their body on the line, and, that's led to a fair few injuries, fair few rehab stints. How have you kept that mentality throughout all of the injuries, to always come back and always fight? And as you said, 9, 10, 6 nations, 2 World Cups, you've played at the highest standard. You've spoken a bit about your motivation in a general sense, but I'm talking about what wakes Seb Negri up and gets him going for the day, knowing that his body is hurt or returning back from rehab to keep going on a daily basis.
Well, I just feel like I've still got unfinished business, and I've still got things to make people around me proud of. I just feel like that gets me up. Like my family, my wife, people that I want to make proud of me, and I've still got energy in the tank to achieve things, and that's what keeps me going. And like I said, I just want to one day just leave my jersey and just be like, I've given everything to the cause. Until that day, I'm going to go and I'll run my body into the ground until the day that I can say I've done everything for the jersey. And I still feel like I can still do a lot and more. And I'm still motivated as ever. These little things like injuries, and young players watching this, like little injuries, I always say to Ross, like, because, you pick up little injuries, especially when you're young, and it's tough. But I always had the mentality of every game lost is every game gained in the future. So I look at it as like, okay, I've lost it 3-4 months now, but I'm going to gain those 3-4 months in the future. Not to say that I'm going to play until I'm 40, because that's not going to happen, especially the way I play. But, I just have the mentality now that it's unfinished business, that I've still got more to give in terms of my body, more to sacrifice to leave Italian rugby in a better place. And more memories to create and to make the people that are close to me and that have been there from the start to be really proud.
And sorry, just a bit more on that. On a practical level, what does that look like in terms of your day, like post training? Like, what do you do?
I'm literally, it does my wife's head in, but I'm doing everything that I can to be, and especially the last couple of years, you've got to be more professional. But I'm doing, in terms of the food, nutrition, recovery, I'm doing just everything that I possibly can, whether that's driving 40 minutes to go and have spa days, to go and have ice baths, to go and have, the best treatments, chambers, ice straight after training, all of those sort of things. Like I just try and tick every single box, because even all the small things, all the 1%ers, make a difference. I know it's a cliche thing to say, but I really believe that mentally, if you feel like, especially going into a game week or an international or a test match, or if you feel like in your mind that you've done everything possible to prepare the best you can, there's no reason for you to be nervous or anxious going into it, because you've done everything you can to prepare. So I've always had that mentality, and that's why Ross will tell you is that even during a training week, I still try and push myself in training. I still try and, play on the edge. And some of my teammates won't like me, but they respect me for it, is that I do sometimes play on the edge, even in training. But that means that I'll do everything in training, because when I get to the game, I'm used to the hits. I'm used to the knocks. And like, sometimes it is tricky, but that's just the way it is.
I hate being on the other side
of
when
that.
Seb's in training and I'm in a different bib.
Yeah.
And you just feel it. You can just feel him coming for a breakdown, just coming to clear you out. Anyway, Seb, we're going to quickly roll into some quick fire questions. So the first thing that comes into mind, we're just going to go quickly. A couple questions.
Perfect.
3 words you'd use to describe your playing style.
Passionate, brutal, hard, or courageous.
What's been the highlight of your career so far?
Scotland win in Rome.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Biggest challenge you've had?
Obviously, the World Cups are special, but I would
Yeah.
say the Scotland win in Rome.
Biggest challenge you've had to overcome in your career?
Concussion against England.
Can we speak on that a bit more? I want to know the story behind that, because I've heard about it. Like, yeah, who was it in a tackle? How did it happen? Sorry, I know that's not very quick fire.
I got the ball, got clocked on the chin, and then I was lying on the floor. Obviously, I don't have any memory of this, but Genji took my mouth guard out. I was choking on my tongue. Could have easily gone another way, but thankfully regained consciousness when I was in the ambulance just close to the hospital, and sort of realized, okay, I'm okay now, but obviously something's happened during the game. And then it took me a couple months to get my head right, and waking up with all the being anxious and headaches and feeling like you need to vomit and things like that wasn't great. But here we are, and got no issues now, so it's all good.
Wow. Okay, that's incredible that you've come back from that and to play international rugby again after that incident. What is the best piece of advice anyone has given you in general? This could be non-rugby career related.
Be kind, because kindness is free. And I would say in general, just live life to the fullest and take every opportunity that comes your way.
Last one, Sebi. What is something about you people wouldn't expect?
I think, because on the field I come across as hard hitting, aggressive sometimes. I'm really off the field, I'm, as you know, Ross, pretty much it's not a softie, but just very kind, loves being with people, very friendly, and just really approachable, and I guess just a nice, good person, I guess.
I would have said something about the face serums. All the face serums.
Oh yeah, and also just
a man that loves skincare.
My skincare routine's pretty.
It's up
there.
there.
I like to make sure that I look after my skin. So
and
it's
your
the
teeth.
routines, and my teeth. So, but you do everything that you can to prepare. It's like a rugby game. You do everything that you can prepare. So when you go out the front door, you're looking shiny and clean.
Seb, thank you so much, man. That was incredible.
Pleasure. Pleasure, guys. Thank you so much for having me, and love what you guys are doing. I think it's awesome.
Thanks, Seb.
And hope to be in Exeter soon to come see you guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Seb. That was inspiring.
Right.
All the best.
Seriously, thank you so much. Have a good haircut.
Thanks. Love champagne.
Say hi to the butchers for me.
Bye.
You need to go and get another haircut.
I'm not.
He's just got one.
Cheers, Sebi. Okay. Thanks, man.
Cheers, guys.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in for our episode with Sebastian Negri. I really enjoyed that, and personally, I felt like I could have kept talking to him for ages, or he could have kept talking to me for ages. But it was awesome. Incredible stories, an incredible career, full of loads and loads of ups, but also navigated some really tricky periods. I guess how we like to end the episode now is by saying what our favorite bit or what our key takeaway was from the episode. And do you want to start, or should I start?
I'll start.
Okay.
And I think, he wears his heart on his sleeve. I guess I know him quite well, and he genuinely does pour everything he can into every game, every training session. And I think it's a good philosophy to live by. When you want to get the best out of anything, you got to pour your heart and soul into it, and he encompasses that aspect of it.
I think there's a lot to pick from for me with Seb, but I think I'm going to go for his ability to, come back from mental trauma. I know we only loosely touched on it at the end, but that concussion, I know, obviously you see it on TV, you hear about it in the news, was a pretty traumatic event for him. And I think it shows an incredible amount of mental fortitude. He spoke a bit about the injuries that he's faced and coming back from those injuries, but concussions are particularly difficult to come back from. But the mental fortitude he has shown to come back from what could have been a life-threatening, potentially lethal experience to then donning the blue jersey again and playing for Italy again and playing for Benetton again and still having that same vigor is incredible. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us for episode number 8 of the No Rucks Given podcast. We hope you're liking the stash. Shout out to our sponsors, VX3. Please use our code NRG10 for any VX3 items, merch, or even NRG merch that you want to buy in the future. It's been great to have you join us, and see you for the next episodes.